What is going on, guys? Jack here and welcome to episode 70 of the Bristol Rovers career mode series. And my god, last episode, did we have a fantastic episode to bring to you guys. Of course it was the new season, and now we are in the second episode of this new season. And oh my god, 82 likes on the last episode. 82! I didn't think that was possible. I asked for less than half of that and I got 82 likes. Thank you guys so much. And if we can hit anything like that on this episode, I'd be much appreciated. And I will try and bring out another episode as soon as I possibly can. But you can see here that we're going for a couple of players. Josh Murphy is one of them, the Norwich under 21. And he looks like a really good player. I did try to go for him at the beginning of the series, much like most of these players, but I couldn't do so because my budget and everything was just too bad. It's as simple as that. Like, throughout this series, we've had such a bad budget. But luckily, I've kind of made it happen, and I've been able to sign players here like Robert Hall and all of these right midfielders and everything that I'm going for right now. And you can see the players that we are going for, and all the contracts have been accepted by 3 players. I was only looking to sign 2 though, and in the end I do decide to sign Robert Hall at left mid as a replacement for Louis Graben, as Louis Graben could play on the wing, but I did want someone a little bit better on the wing than Ellis Harrison, so I also picked up Ben Reeves as well. Looks like a really good player, and I did try to purchase him last season from MK Dons, but unfortunately it only took until this season. But he's still a very good player, and we'll see his stats in a minute, as well as Robert Hall's stats. They're very good players overall, and they really do improve the team by a long shot. But you can see here Ben Reeves is a very solid looking player. Got some lovely skill attributes there as well as physical attributes, and he can play left back as well. That's very useful to know, especially if one of my players does get injured, or I have you know, someone that does depart left back. I can use him there. And then we've got Robert Hall, one of the highest rated players in the team, as we have signed him from Bolton Wanderers. And they did get promoted with us to the Barclays Premier League. Got some great stats there. 4-star weak foot. Can play left mid, left wing, striker and cam. What a versatile player that is, and hopefully he'll be a great player for us. But we're going to start this episode off by going into a game against QPR. Of course, once again, I do have fond feelings for QPR because I did do a career mode series with them. It was my first career mode series on YouTube, and it did go down very well actually. And even though it wasn't on Next Gen at the time, it was still a very good series, and I bought quite a few players in that did turn out to be quite incredible. And the team overall, I may go back to it one day, maybe if I can get a hold of another Xbox 360, because I don't have my Xbox 360 anymore, which does suck a little bit. But maybe I will try and get it back just to kind of show you guys the team and my other career modes maybe at the end of this at the end of FIFA 14. I may show you all of my career mode teams that I've done, apart from Bristol Rovers, of course. Just so that you guys have an idea of the kind of career modes that I may be doing next year on FIFA 15. Some people did say that they wanted to see maybe a Borussia Dortmund career mode, and I'm definitely going to be doing a Bundesliga one at the start of FIFA 15 for sure, because on the straw poll that was the second most voted for the new career mode choice. But we did decide to stick with Bristol Rovers, which I'm fine with, and we get things started here in the 6th minute, but Anuaha manages to kind of clear that one away pretty scrappily, but he does so anyway and prevents a header of Ryan Brunt going into the back of the net. Said that many times this season, and it was a surprise that Ryan Brunt didn't score that, because he's been scoring a lot of headers prior to that goal. And we do get another chance here as Julio Cesar parries it out. It falls to Ryan Brunt, and Ryan Brunt scores our first goal on Legendary, and that was a very good moment for me because I was really struggling to score against the Legendary computer. And if that's how every one of our goals are going to happen on Legendary, I'm going to have a real tough time scoring, because if you think about it, Legendary is a big step up from World Class. If any of you have kind of stepped up from that level recently or have done in the past, then do let me know in the comments down below how you've managed to deal with it. But Robert Lainton once again coming up with a fantastic save from Mbia's shot. That was a very good shot, although it was along the ground. He had to kind of get low to save that and make sure it didn't go into the back of the net. And unfortunately, John Joe O'Toole did pick up a yellow card, so I was very cautious with him throughout the game, and I didn't want him to get sent off for sure, because he's one of our best players and certainly our best central defensive midfielder. He's 28 now, so I may look to replace him. But look at that goal there. I mean, come on, how does that go into the back of the net? All that Robert Lainton had to do was catch the ball there, but he didn't do so. Really disappointing there. And I was generally disappointed because before that actually went in, and that stupid little kind of fumble, I guess you could say, went into the back of the net and fell to the QPR player's head. He'd been playing fantastically well. He had no reason to make a mistake there, but I just think that sometimes the game just doesn't go your way, and in the end they do score and level up the game. I couldn't believe it myself. I didn't think that they'd be able to score that, but Bobby Zamora gets his second goal in the BPL. He's still playing despite the fact that he's 36 in the game, which is ridiculous, and it's not like he's retiring next season either. But right here, you can see what's going to happen. He's going to get a red card. John Joe O'Toole, nothing happened until the 90th minute, and that is the picture of legendary, basically. Nothing happens whatsoever, and then I get a player sent off. Of course I do. Of course it had to be John Joe O'Toole. If it was anyone else, I would have been more than happy, and luckily QPR do sky that one over, and the game does invariably end as a draw. A bit disappointing, really. Would have expected a bit more from that, but we did have about 3 shots, so an improvement from the last game against Stoke, where we didn't have any shots whatsoever, which is really disappointing. But luckily, in this game, we did manage to pick up a point. But against QPR, I would have expected a little bit of a better result, but in the end we do end up drawing the game. Luckily Ryan Brunt did manage to pick up a point for us, because otherwise we would have lost this game, and that would have been a bit disappointing if I'm going to be honest with you. But it's going to be a tough episode. We play against QPR. They do have a solid team in general, and Julio Cesar in goal is very hard to get past. And you can see there we did have 2 shots on target, so it's an improvement, but Legendary is still very hard to kind of get your game going and doing all of that. But maybe I will lower the difficulty down. I don't know. If it gets a little bit too hard, then I may have to. But you can see there we are in 12th place, and we are ahead of Arsenal, and going into this game against Manchester City right here. Manchester City are going to be a very tough opponent. I'd say that by this stage of career mode, they have a very good side, and they would have bought quite a few players in, and maybe sold quite a few players as well, as some of them may have also retired, such as James Milner and Joleon Lescott and players like that usually are, for some reason, in the starting 11 in Manchester City in career mode, which is a bit strange because, of course, they have Jesus Navas. In my opinion, he is better, but James Milner's still a solid player, don't get me wrong, but it seems a bit strange, the choice that the AI make with their lineup sometimes, especially when they have such good players on the bench. But you see here, they do have quite a solid lineup. They've got Scott Sinclair, they've got Jovetic, and a bunch of other great players, but so have we. We've got a few good players, and Mitchell Duke is still yet to score, which is a bit worrying. Hopefully he will get on the score sheet in the BPL, because you know, although he didn't cost me anything, he could have cost me a lot more. Like, he could have cost me about 3 or 4 million if I didn't get him on a pre-contract. But luckily, I did manage to be able to afford him, and luckily I did have the amount left on the wages so that I could buy him. And you can see here, it took only 15 minutes for Stefan Jovetic to penetrate our defence and score and put it into the back of the net. Very disappointing stuff there. I would have expected a little bit better from our defence, but I just kept backing off, and that's something that I have realised, that you can't just back off, because they will shoot and score, especially when you've got Stefan Jovetic, who's probably one of the best finishers in career mode as we speak, but that's because of his high overall potential. But you can see here, this is one of our only chances of the game so far, and it was James Wallace having a crack from just about inside the box, and his shot was well saved by Joe Hart, but it wasn't going to trouble him too much because it wasn't that powerful, and it was straight into his path really. He didn't have to move too much to get that, and I was interested to see who was the best corner taker in our team, and I think it was Robert Hall. He's got pretty good crossing stats, and that was something I was looking for in a winger, a better crosser really, because overall in our team, although we got a lot of assists last season from the right back and left back position, they strangely don't have the best crossing. I don't know how that's worked out, but the thing is, they got like the top assist last season, but they don't have the best crossing. So I was looking for someone that could do a bit better in the crossing department, and Robert Hall was the man. And luckily I did manage to purchase him, as he's got a bit of potential in him to be a really good player in the future. He's still only 22 as well, which is a great thing. And hopefully he will be a great player for us in the future. But right here, you can't stop that, I'm sorry. But on Legendary, their passing moves are just brilliant. Usually the AI on Legendary, they don't have many, I wouldn't say they don't have many shots, but they don't have many chances on goal. And when they do, they either put it on target or put it into the back of the net. That's just the thing with Legendary that I've noticed. really quick tempo passing, and in the end Stefan Jovetic gets his second goal and we lose the game 2-0. So quite a fair result, I guess you could say, because we didn't have that much in the game and Manchester City were all over us. And in real life, if we were in the Premier League, that would probably be a fair result. So I need to bear that in mind, and maybe in the next episode we will improve our results, because a draw and a loss is a bit of a bad time really for us. We need to stay above that relegation zone so that we don't get relegated. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you do want another episode, maybe tomorrow or the day after, be sure to smash that like button. Remember, we got 80 likes on the last episode. If we can get anything close to that, let's just go for 35 likes, because I know that you guys can hit that very easily. And I'll upload another episode of Career Mode tomorrow or on the next day, depending on my internet. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode, and I'll see you next time for another video. Thanks for watching.